Productions.
The Green Route merch available now on sourkidsmerch.com.
Due to suggestive adult themes and dialogue, this podcast is intended for adults. In other words, the truth is ugly, so we get ugly right along with it. Everything we say is out of love for ourselves, our people, and our community. Sincerely, the Green Route Podcast.
What's up?
What's the word?
We're back. I mean, and when I say we're,
The pair is there. Let me turn my timers off. Clearly, I am.
You got somewhere to be?
I do not have anywhere to be, but I need to turn these damn. You know what happens when you have a watch that you don't know how to work that good?
I do.
Because you ain't never sat down and figured it out.
And actually played along. Yeah.
Let me figure out.
I
I'm sure it's.
I get it.
All right.
I'm so bad. And I actually don't have it on because it died. I put it on the charger before I left home. But my watch, I'm so bad at knowing how to use it that I still have a timer that goes off, like an alarm to wake me up that goes off outside of my actual alarm. And I just will not figure out how to turn the second alarm off. It's just something I have to deal with later in the morning now at this point. I'm not interested.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
We'll figure it out.
One day.
We'll figure it out.
One day. What's up, y'all? The Green Route is back. Politics, liquor, and cussing. I'm so glad to be back with my partner in crime. Man, I missed you. And I'm just excited to be back. Shout out to Sour Kids Productions. Kenny is in the room with us per the
Shout
usual.
out to Kenny.
Yeah, but first of all, I know we'll do our check-in at the end, but just tell me, how are you?
I guess if I'm going to define it with one word, I'm going to say peaceful, at peace.
I love that.
What about you?
I have been stressed, but as I just updated you on the developments in my life, I found a lot of peace in the last 24 hours.
You know what? Look at God.
Seriously.
You know what? This is the year of letting go and letting God.
Seriously.
Whatever God you believe in, whether it's the God of
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob,
or if it's the God of the rock outside, or the wind that blows.
Allah, whoever.
Whoever. Give it to that entity.
That's it.
And let it ride.
That's it. And show up and do what you were supposed to do.
Exactly.
I remember making some hard decisions, and I was like, to other people, this will seem stupid, but I know that this is not for me. And so I just need to let it go. I need to send it away. And it just made room for the things that were for me. So
as it should be.
It's great. All right. You ready to talk some shit? Let's
get to it.
All right, cool. All right, y'all. So you already know how we about to do. We got 5 topics for you, and then we will check in, and figure out how our mental health is shaping up in America 2024. Yeah, all of that. All right. So first up, we fresh off of Super Tuesday. Fresh off of Super Tuesday. Trump cleaned up. He cleaned up.
He did.
He's at 900 something delegates now.
900 something. He only lost
Vermont.
Vermont. Yep. Just Vermont to Nikki Nimrata. Nimrata.
He called her a bird brain a few days ago. That was pretty crazy. Yeah. But yeah, so she won Vermont. Shout out to her. She dropped out this morning. But yeah, so Trump is full steam ahead in this thing, right? What we want to talk about though is AI times Trump.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now, some of you may have noticed there are some AI pictures that are floating around with Trump with black people, and they look pretty real.
They look pretty good.
And I guess the bigger picture concerning that is the fact that most of our friends and family members, with more of these AI photos, these AI generated fake photos, a lot of them won't know that these photos are fake.
Yeah.
So with support for Biden kind of waning, we already know how that game goes within the Democratic Party amongst black people. This is just one more tool that will empower Trump, that will help him. Not to even mention that there are already black people who are staunch supporters of Trump.
Yeah.
So it's just adding more to the the disarray and confusion. Let's be clear here. The Green Route podcast will remain vigilant and steadfast.
Absolutely.
In what we already know. There will be no shaking. There will be no misunderstandings here on Trump nor Biden.
That's it.
We will still continue to stand on the side of the people, and until the political apparatus,
come on, apparatus,
chooses to make a change to actually support the people, we will continue to call it out. But these deep fake pictures are real and they out there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just something that, you know, folks have to be aware of, right? Like there are times where I'll see an AI picture and I'm like, shit, like, is that? But one thing I'm noticing is there's still a little something that's always off.
Always
there's still just you have to take a double take. So when I saw the pictures, I'm gonna be honest, I saw the one with the black men first.
Oh, with the brothers?
And I was just like, of course they gonna try to come after black men and then I saw the one with the women. And I was just like, damn, they coming after black women too?
And the thing, you know how I knew it was fake? Because he had his arms around them like this. He was like,
yep.
It almost like a club photo, like he was in Bella Noche's for the night, chilling. That's kind of how it looks a little bit, but we all know.
Oh Lord, they got one with Martin Luther King.
Okay, we got the one with. Well, y'all just be.
Yeah.
And of course, because I know some people might be like, oh, deepfake might be a strong word. Anything that doesn't come with any fake picture that doesn't come with any context, any fake picture that could potentially be disseminated and not tied to the actual creator would be considered deep fake. Yeah. Because there are people who are going to believe it. They're going to be like, oh, look at us. We cool with Trump now. We accept Trump. He invited to the barbecue. No. To all the people who be eager to invite folks to barbecues. Yeah. He's still not invited. It's not a real picture.
Also, and I don't know if the camera, we'll do an overlay. But one thing I'm realizing, black men could actually look like this in real life. Trump cannot. Like now that I see the perfection of his hair and his skin, he actually not that put together.
He actually looks a little more wholesome in these pictures.
Yeah. Look at his hair.
These are GOP pro Republican AI systems that we're dealing with. And I just, like I said, for me, I'm always thinking a little bit more on the deep end. This is scary because propaganda is real. And one thing we know about the years that we've seen these images and how they've shaped the minds of us just long enough to get us to make the wrong decisions that end up sticking with us for years. That's why these images and that's why these pictures are problematic. They don't need everybody to believe. They just need just the right amount of people to believe.
The ones who are susceptible to this and will go tell their buddies that,
you know what?
You ain't heard?
You ain't heard? You know what? We okay with Trump now. No.
That's it.
No, Auntie, no, Uncle, we love you. But no, we not for any of them.
That's
no.
Yeah, I mean, this is marketing, right? Like you target a specific audience of people who are open to receiving this message. And so they knew like people like you and I were going to just be like, hold up.
Hell
but
no.
We are not everyone, right?
We are not representative of.
Yeah, there is a faction of the black community that will just be like, oh shit, Trump look like he hanging with the homies. And again, the more I look at the picture, I'm like, I actually know black men who look like that in real, like their skin is glowing, their hair is, Trump don't never look this well put together.
Yeah.
Ever. So I would say this, if his hair looked too perfect, if his suit is fitting too tight, too right, and if his skin looks too good, check the source.
I'm also going to add to that for now, AI video isn't there yet. So don't focus on photos, y'all. Don't focus on photos. Yeah. Look for videos. Yeah. He has as of recently, because the thing about it is when I believe everything happens, it's like a drop in the water to how when a drop falls, it flows both directions. So while this is probably something that is positive for his image amongst black people, we got to be very aware that Mark Robinson, a pastor, and I think senator, I'm not 100% sure, he's endorsing this guy. He called him the second Martin Luther King. Now, this man is nothing like a Martin Luther King. He's anti-LGBTQ, anti-equal rights. He's anti-science. He is anti-trans. He is what else?
Reparations.
Anti-reparations.
Yeah, I heard a speech he gave the other day, and I was like, "Good." He said, "We owe the country, not the other way around."
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part. But
crazy.
So he is calling this man the second Martin Luther King, which we all know Martin Luther King probably wouldn't have shook hands with this kind of black man at all. Wouldn't have even been in community with this black man. So
yeah,
I said that to say that let's keep all of our eyes open.
Yeah.
Because while they're putting out fake ass pictures, he's shaking hands with black people that are encouraging our harm.
That's right.
They're all like harm to the rest of us. So let's be clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And real quick, because we're running out of time on this one. Tim Scott, you think he gonna be on the short list for VP?
Tim Scott can't keep a woman. So I don't think he's going to be respected by Trump.
Did she leave him already?
I don't know. I don't know.
I was like, damn, they just got engaged.
I don't know. It just depends on when the payments shorten up, when the money is dry. Okay. I don't know. Trump might not respect him because of that. But then again, Trump has paid prostitutes. So he might respect him for paying, for pay to play. He might actually be like, hey, we in the same gang. I don't know.
I don't even think it's the woman thing he doesn't respect. So remember after Trump, when Tim Scott bowed out of the race, right? And Trump did a rally or a victory speech somewhere, and Tim Scott was on stage, right? He was just like, he's a great politician, And he was like, we love so-and-so. And he said he loves, and then Tim Scott gets up to the mic and was like, I just love you, like very like step and fetcher. And so remember Trump's response, he was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what makes him a great politician. I was like, the dismissive tone of Trump let me know right then that he sees Tim Scott for what he is. He is willing to put his own pride on the line in order to be close to the power source.
So he is a black Ted Cruz. Tim Scott, you've gone to a lower level. You've sunk to another. Because I did hear about that. I did hear about that.
Like,
so
I just love you. Okay.
Oh God, I don't want to parrot that trope because I really want to make fun of it.
That's how it sounded.
I heard about it. I didn't see it, but I definitely heard about it. And I
Kenny, can we lay that clip over somehow? Okay.
And then we do go to South Carolina, where we've done really well, where I've done well. We have a great governor and lieutenant governor and great everything, because almost every one of them have endorsed me. 2 great senators, which is hard. I mean, did you ever think that she actually appointed you, Tim? And think of it, appointed, and you're the senator of his state, and she endorsed me. You must really hate her. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. Uh-oh.
I just love you.
No, that's why he's a great politician. That's why he's a great politician.
Like, I love you.
He was like, hand around. God. It was very giving Django. What was the house nigga name?
What's Samuel's character name? I can't remember his name.
It was giving him.
It was giving him.
Like,
oh goodness, y'all just let's keep Tim Scott in our prayers because brothers like that can't be right. I'm just letting y'all know.
Thoughts and prayers. All right, y'all. Next up, so we staying in the White House. Biden and Kamala,
yes,
president and VP. They went from Israel has a right to defend itself by any means necessary to now calling for a ceasefire and sending. And I love that you put this in quote aid, because it's sick the amount of aid that they dropping into Gaza.
So just to start off, number one. It's the what's the word? The conflicting aspect of sending aid to one side, but then sending bombs and artillery and money to the other side.
That's it.
How can you send aid? As a matter of fact, the way that you're sending aid just shows how little control you have over Israel, because Israel has been stopping aid to flow via the roads, via the streets. So they're saying, well, I guess we're going to do it. We have to drop it in on them. We have to fly some airplanes and drop it in. Like, y'all are not even allowed to drive it in. Y'all can't say, here, we're with the USA.
That's it.
You have given them so much money, so many guns, so many bombs that you can't even drive a truck into an area to drop off aid and food because they won't allow you.
Yep.
That part is, to me, is insane. It's insane. And it just goes to show who's in control. Who's in control?
When I saw that the U.S. was going to be dropping aid, right, I was thinking to myself, the SWV lyrics, I get so weak. I remember at the end of the chorus, end of the first verse, it was like, what am I to do when the cause and cure is you? And I was just like, that right there.
SWV was some political philosophy.
Oh my. Like, the brilliance of that. Like,
they wouldn't even,
you are the cause of my pain, but also I need you to help aid in that pain that you've caused. And it's insane to me. So when you say, like, who's in charge, the first thing I want to point out to that point, I was driving on 35 late last year, maybe December. And I had texted Gray Black Century. The reason I texted him was because as I was driving south towards our neighborhood on 35, I saw the Texas flag flying.
And the Israeli flag.
I
know where you saw it too. Huge Israeli. Huge Israeli.
At the same level, right? Same size flag. That shit was, it was a beautiful day. Wind was blowing. I was thinking, like, now what country am I living in right now?
Okay. That was at Faith Family Academy.
I had to look it up myself to see who these people were that were flying this flag.
Faith Family Academy is a private / charter school. I'm not 100% sure which one, but they are predominantly African American school.
And they are funded, I believe, by a lot of churches. Like, I looked at, like, a lot of their curriculum is around, like, Christianity, Christian nationalism. Yeah. Like, I would imagine they preach a lot of prosperity gospel in the churches that these people go to. So, yeah.
It is. I saw that. First of all, I'm from my neighborhood. I'm from Glendale Park in Oak Cliff. So to see that flag on the other side of the freeway from where I'm from, it just, and let's be clear here. We don't have anything against the Israeli people.
That's right.
We don't. Not any. No, let me be clear. We don't have anything against the innocent Israeli people.
And when y'all can check this show a year and a half ago, and we've been saying the same thing. It was never about being anti-Semitic or being hateful.
Never about that. Again, it is the Israeli government that is pushing for this. This is a extremely right-wing, extremely racist, Zionist government that we are absolutely against. And the propaganda, the amount of the Super Bowl ad, speaking of propaganda.
That was crazy.
That was insane.
Jesus had $7 million to spend on an ad as
well.
Really?
He did? That's crazy. So we're against the whole entire system. Shout out to the Jewish people, the Jewish Coalition for Peace. It's a bunch of different Jewish groups that are calling for a ceasefire now. Yep. They're calling for the immediate removal of Jewish settlements, illegal. Let's be clear, illegal Jewish settlements in Gaza, in the West Bank. So that's one thing we got to make clear. We are not against Jewish people who are for peace, who are for love, who are for fairness, who are for equality, who are not for war. Who are anti-war. But this system has too much control. And what we're watching right now is, again, what we're talking about with Kamala Harris, with Biden. All of a sudden, he called for a ceasefire he didn't call for it. He said that we're hoping for a ceasefire while eating ice cream. By the end of the week. How can you, just the statement alone.
Optics, my boy.
I'm just casually casually in an ice cream parlor eating ice cream, just saying, oh yeah, by next week. it was fun. One joke I got out of it, Jon Stewart made a joke. And he was like, that's probably the worst time to be asked about a ceasefire.
Why you eating ice cream? I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
That part, I totally understood.
If nothing else, I'll be like, hold this real quick. Like, you give it to your chief of staff. Can you put this in a cup for me real quick so we can talk about this?
But truth be told, it shows the lack of political professionalism. Let me just say that. Like, you can't even be politically professional and have conversations or make comments about the murder of over 30,000 people. Again, this is the murder. This is intentional. We talked about this last time, but let me get to my real point. The real point is this. It is just very interesting that there's been a change in the course.
Yep.
And truth be told, why do you think this changed? Because I have my reasons as to why. Why do you think?
Oh yeah, I think the change is because they realize that their constituents are against this war. Their constituents are against us spending so much money to fund genocide, and they have to pay attention to the people who they expect to vote for them in a presidential election year. If this was not a presidential election year, there is nothing in me that believes that they would change their rhetoric or even how they've been moving on this.
I agree.
Like, at all.
I agree.
I don't think there's a moral compass shift or anything like that. I believe because it's the year 2024 and he knows that Trump has made the comeback that he's made, and unprecedented. I'm actually impressed at the comeback Trump has made politically. An unprecedented comeback. Biden knows that his base, the young people, African Americans, women, Gen Z, millennial, us, people who think like us, he has to do something because we're saying we ain't fucking with you on this. And we very well may have to go another way if you're not careful. What I noticed, the thing that I noticed that I think caused this shift was exactly what happened in Michigan. Their goal was to get 10,000 people to select the uncommitted box. That's right.
They got 100,000 people to say uncommitted.
Prove that we could fuck you over if we wanted to.
Which means, and we all know that Michigan is one of those states that's gone back and forth.
That's right.
The discrepancy in votes has been around the 200 to 100,000 vote margin.
It's a true swing state.
True swing state.
Yeah.
And I think that when y'all saw that, because I got to give really major props to those organizers up there for making that happen, because they've showed us that's the only way that they're going to listen. I feel like as a community, as a Black community, we've always thought about, withholding our vote and using our vote for our benefit and all. Though they actually did it and it actually worked. Yeah.
Well, have you heard of the movement to withhold your taxes now?
Well,
that shit is catching on, but those are the times we're in, right? Yeah. That's how crazy it is. And I also want to say one thing, y'all. To the Black people who be online talking to me about we shouldn't be in this don't have nothing to do with us, that's their problem, why you always speaking out on this? I want to remind you that Israeli soldiers and the United States police force, the militarized police force here in the United States, train together. There's a reason that we see certain tactics being used over there that we've seen used on us over here.
Exactly.
But because the Palestinian people have been occupied by those same forces that have trained with our police here in this country, when we start hitting the streets for Philando Castile and for Mike Brown and for George Floyd, who was telling us how not to get caught up in sweeps, how to make sure that they can't identify you, how to make sure that you can combat being pepper sprayed or gassed out. For Black people who don't understand the connection between us and Palestinians, know that they were giving us new game in our new fight, against police brutality in this country. And even if it weren't for that, I'm going to speak up for any disenfranchised group that is under the thumb of some powerful ruler.
Right.
But because of that right there, that lets me know that it is my place to use my voice and to use my platform to say something about it, because they use their voice and their platforms to show up for us when we needed it. So for all the Black people that's out there wondering why niggas like me is out here saying, that's why.
And let's be clear here, y'all. This is the fight that Black people have in America. It's a global fight. The same tactics that they've used on us are the same tactics that they've used on people in Palestine. And truth be told, we're in a special place to where we can look at it as it really is. Everyone else can be manipulated by media. Everyone else can be told one thing while viewing another. We know this. We know this. The other part to it too. Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Assata Shakur. There have been multiple Black leaders who have spoken out against the atrocities that have been happening to Palestinians for years. And they've talked about how we are linked to those people over there, just as they're linked to us in the same struggle. It's the same struggle. We're just in different phases of it.
That's it. I love that you said we're in different phases, because I look at the forceful removal of people and I'm like, we know that there are complete towns underwater in this country. Complete towns underwater. They have changed laws to take our land, to force us off our land. We black folks have been getting shifted around for years. Shifted around, pushed around, sent around for years. Forced migration for years. Yep. It's no different. The thing about it is Israel is just so small to where they're trying to take over the entire thing. For us, they don't care where we go. They've just pushed us off the land that they wanted. Just go over there. Just go somewhere over there. That's it. But I assure you, if America was just as small as Palestine, the tactics would be exactly the same. Yeah. Yep. So. Yep. All right, y'all. Let's go over to Haiti. We haven't talked about Haiti in a minute. Yeah. But what's crazy is this story is directly linked to probably the last time we talked about Haiti and just the unrest there. So, a quick reminder of what's been going on in Haiti, right? We had the assassination 2 years ago now, about 2 years ago. And so Ariel Henry was positioned as the prime minister there. There is a shit ton of instability in Haiti right now, so much so that late last year, the UN decided, not the UN, but the Security Council decided, they passed a resolution to send armed soldiers, armed officers into Haiti. Now, these were to be Kenyan soldiers. And matter of fact, I think that's the last time we talked about it, was when they passed that resolution. So, long story short, a former presidential candidate over in Kenya went to the high court and was like, whoa, this shit needs to stop. Yeah. Like, how are we sending armed soldiers into someone else's country? Number one, we got issues here, but also, like, we probably don't need to be the proxy for the UN or the United States. Right. So the high court was like, actually, that kind of makes sense. And they blocked the Kenyan soldiers from going over to Haiti. I think they were going to send 1,000 at first. Thank God. Well, the new prime minister, Ariel Henry, who, by the way, we should point out is U.S. backed. And he's in Puerto Rico right now. Do with that information what you will when I say he is U.S. backed. He leaves Haiti to go to Kenya to beg the UN to send those soldiers. And this is after gangs, and I say gangs in quotes. Loose terms. Right? I'm going to say gang / opposition leaders. I like that. They went in and they released a bunch of people from prisons, right? So now you have these people getting together like, hey, I'm going to liberate my country from the corruption, from the external influences that have kept us in debt, that have kept us paying, money to the motherfucking crown for freeing our own self, all of that. So he goes over to Kenya to beg the UN to send these soldiers that, remember, they had paused on sending over. He tries to take a plane back over, and one of the opposition leaders, and I wish I could remember his name right now, but Yes, he goes by barbecue, but his mama named him something else. But he does
mama
go
named
by
him
barbecue.
something else. But his partners call him barbecue.
He has been front and center when it comes to we don't fuck with them, and we don't fuck with you. So he said if he lands in this country and he does not step down, there is going to be civil war and genocide. Right. So then he tries to take his plane to Dominican Republic. They was like, you can't land here because you gotta remember Dominican Republic don't fuck with Haiti like that. So he had to turn around and go to Puerto Rico. So that's where he is right now. What's happening in Haiti, y'all, is you have people like Barbecue who are saying, I am sick and tired of a few very wealthy people making decisions for working class and poor people in our neighborhoods. The level of discrepancy when it comes to wealth and income and access and just the ability to live a decent life in Haiti is so wide that they have literally created this by creating such instability in the way people are able to live like just decent lives. And so I was actually on TikTok live this morning talking about this, and I wanted people to understand that, like, be careful even when you're reading articles from sources that probably GS and I read all the time. Because when you see a gang, I see people saying, nah, I'm actually going to free my people from this bullshit.
I always say this. Number one, when I think about U.S. colonialism and imperialism, I always think about who are you sending to these countries? Again, that lets me know what they're trying to accomplish. America either sends experts or ammunition. They send one or the other. Now, if they're trying to be fair, they're trying to look good on the world stage, or they're really trying to come to some kind of compromise, they send their most educated, their brightest, their
U.S. negotiators.
They're negotiators.
Are in Qatar right now.
They're foreign policy experts. They you know, whenever they're trying to help, that's what they send. They're agriculture. You know what, you guys? There's global warming issues.
That's what we're sending over to Israel. We're sending experts to Israel.
We're going to help. You know, we're going to help you in that way. But we know that when or let me not say no. Let me not say no. When we believe that they are serving their own interests, when clearly they don't have the best interests of the people, they send ammunition. And truth be told, that's the history of, again, colonialism and imperialism. They send guns when they're trying to establish control. Not, again, there's a difference between control and actually building up a democracy in terms of what they always say, decency and democracy.
That's right.
But it just goes to show that's what that is. So right now in Haiti, they're choosing to send guns. They're not sending experts. First of all, if they really want to help Haiti, they can lift the embargoes. That's number one. They could have all the economic sanctions against Haiti. And again, that's what makes it so terrible. The fact that you have, again, America being this massive, influential world power, still disallowing Haiti from trading with other countries. That's right. That in itself is crippling the economy.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? Who are you to tell another country that they can't trade with somebody? Like, it's like me saying, hey, you can't go eat there. Well, why? I'm a grown-ass man. I'm
eliminating every place where where anybody who feeds you, we're gonna have a problem with them. So I'd say, like, the constant abuse of the Haitian country by France. They're not out of this. France, Canada, the Crown, U.S. The consistent abuse and raping of that country.
Yep.
It's always, it's going to lead to this. And one thing I can empathize with that Barbecue said, he made it very clear when he was talking to the people. He said that we are not here to harm our people. He said, we are not here to harm our people. If anything, their goal is to rid their country of foreign-backed leadership, because foreign-backed leadership does not come there to help.
It serves foreign interests.
It serves more foreign interests than local.
That's it.
And I personally don't see an issue with that. Personally speaking, again, my thoughts, actions, and ideas reflect myself and not other. No, I'm just joking. But my overall point is, what's happening in Haiti is atrocious, but it's been happening for years. And if America really wants to fix it, they're going to stop this. Again, within the last 10 years, their first democratically elected leader, America was a part of the coup that took him out.
That's right.
So how can we say that we really, not we, let me be clear. How can the American government say that they want peace and they want the unrest to stop when they keep disrupting it? It doesn't make any sense. I made a quote earlier. I was like, what they're doing to Haiti ain't no different than what they doing to a lot of the urban cities in America. Starvation and controlling the leadership. Same two things that are happening there. Same two things that happening in our communities. Yeah. Everywhere else. So as long as those things are happening, and by starvation, we can talk literally about food, but we can also talk about starvation for resources. Again, the majority of Black population zip codes are in food deserts in America to this day, 2024.
Baby.
That part makes no sense at all. Makes no sense.
Yep.
Yet and still, here we are. So all the unrest is happening in Haiti. Again, we are legitimately praying and thinking about our brothers and sisters in Haiti, and we hope that something happens that causes real change for your own self-governance. In a sense, Great Black Century, leave them alone. Let them figure it out. Give them their time. Just leave them.
Give them 100 years.
Give them 100 years.
And it'd be a Wakanda over there, baby. Like, what?
Leave those people alone.
That's real. I got no notes. All right. Next, let me go to my list, y'all. Sorry. Oh, and this is gonna be quick, but let's talk Super Tuesday results and what it pretty much means for November. Yeah. So, repeat is what it means. So, it's funny. I think when we started this podcast, I remember us talking about how there was a very real chance of Trump becoming president again, even though Biden had just won. And I remember us being like, yeah, but America will come back with a vengeance. Right. They will come back with a vengeance. And I remember after that episode, I had so many people was like, nah, there's no way people gonna let him back in. And I was just like, have you
don't
seen
know
who's out here? Like,
see, that's
come on, let it out.
Jesus.
Let it out.
That's a classic case of white liberal romanticism.
These were Black people.
Oh, these were Black people?
These were Black people.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure what
they might have been drinking the same juice that white liberal romantics are drinking, because a lot of them really, first of all, they didn't even think that Trump could get elected in the first place. And then once he did get elected, he did such a terrible job, they would never let him back. And it's like, you don't realize that we're not dealing with reasonable people.
That's it.
Like, we're not dealing, like, whenever I can name a couple things that he's done, that when they still chose to side by him, to grab him by the pussy, the tax evasions, the multiple indictments, the multiple criminal cases, all of these things that we both know, had this been a Black leader running for president, had he had any of these things, a speck of one thing,
a tattoo, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
It wouldn't be a question.
Yeah.
But we know that, again, reason is not their first, might not be their second or third choice. It might be like maybe fourth. It's just not in their top three.
Yeah.
Reasoning is not in the top 3.
Or maybe it's just like, if I hope enough, right? It just won't. Like if I have enough faith and I say it enough, it just won't happen. Well, baby, it's happening. It's happening.
First of all, a lot of y'all a lot of y'all are just disconnected from that side. The algorithm thing really works. Mm-hmm. The algorithm thing really works.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
It's a real thing. So for some of y'all who are living in liberal land or living on that one side, vote blue no matter who, and that's all that's on your feed. So in your mind, you think that everybody's getting it.
Yeah.
People will never it doesn't make sense to elect him again. No, you don't. Y'all, come on, y'all. We have to. A part of being vigilant mm-hmm. is having an understanding of what the other side thinks.
There is. When I watch people watch MSNBC all day, I feel for them because I'm like, you have no idea what the other side is even talking about. So the same way you are getting this hyper liberal rhetoric from MSNBC, mm-hmm. they are getting extreme rhetoric from Newsmax and OAN. Fox News has actually calmed down a little bit, which is crazy. But I mean, what is it? Epoch Times or whatever mm-hmm. that paper is or whatever. Like this is what they're taking in, and so the same way that you've been radicalized as a liberal. Mm-hmm. They are. This is why there's such division and such like polarization right now in politics is because like most people who are on one side are only taking in the most liberal and most people who are on the other side are only taking in the most conservative. And so there's literally almost no middle ground anymore.
And let's be clear. A lot of, not even saying the majority, not even saying most, but a lot of points that are made against Trump in liberal media is correct. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. A lot of the points, that Joy Reid makes, a lot of the points that Jon Stewart, a lot of the points that a lot of people who I follow, absolutely makes sense. We get it. And when they point out the hypocrisy, overstood. Mm-hmm. It's overstood. So it makes sense as to why some of us only take in that side because that's the only side that just seems like it makes sense. The thing about it is,
but it's coddling yourself to do that. Like that's how I see it. It's like, Joy Reid, I fuck with you. Rachel Maddow, I fuck with you. Jon Stewart, that's my boy right
dog.
There. But like I know when I go there, I'm going to get reassurance that the way I think makes sense.
Right.
And to me, that's coddling myself. Like, I also need to go lift some weight, though. Mm. I also need to go hear what they're talking about so that I understand when I hear someone screaming at a Trump rally, here's why. Mm-hmm. Like, it's because the same way I've been listening to good shit to me, they've been listening to good shit for them.
And let's be clear, their number one tool is fear-mongering. Fat Tuesday happened the way it happened with Trump sweeping all these states. It's because of fear. Mm-hmm. Fear has been the tactic of choice this entire time. Again, there hasn't been any real policy introduced that would actually help.
Never. Even the first time around,
there's nothing that's actually going to galvanize and bring people together. None of that.
Yeah.
None of that on that side. I mean, it's not really much on the other side either. But either way, for sure on the red side, there's not any of that. But yet and still, here we are.
Yeah.
So again, fear is what they serve and fear is what they consume.
That's right.
So
that is right. So long story short, y'all, Super Tuesday all but solidified that there will be a rematch.
A rematch nobody wants.
JoJo and between JoJo. And again, I think I said this before, right after Biden won the election. I was like, this is the best we got to offer. Like this is the best we had to put up on the stage to choose from. So yeah, I mean, I think people are in a very interesting predicament this year because on the Biden side, you have him, sending weapons and aid over to the Middle East. And on the other side, you have this guy that is just like,
yeah, Trump is saying finish the job. He's encouraging Israel to continue their violence spree. So really, honestly, if death is the final say, neither of them are any good.
Yeah.
Because both of them have enabled it. And the only reason why the only reason why Biden and Kamala are changing their tune is because they know, again, they need those votes. They know that Trump is automatically going to be on the other side. Because who wants to be on the same side as Trump? Even though y'all have been on the same side of him this whole entire time. Until just recently.
Yep.
So
yep. But y'all, please do not forget that this is bigger than the presidency. Your local elections,
vote locally.
Your representatives, your senators, like your judges, you know, like all of those things matter more in your day-to-day life. So I know the presidential election is sexy and it's the one that we all pay attention to, but in the shit that impacts you every day, that's going to be your local stuff. So make sure you know who you putting on your city council and who your representatives are, state house and, you know, U.S. House. So yeah, I know we talked about Biden versus Trump, but there are a lot of very, very important races in more localized state and you know,
county,
like
city,
county, yeah, all of that. So please pay attention, y'all. That took longer than I thought, but I felt like we was just
we had to kind of
bullshit. Let's see what else we got. Oh, okay. Can we switch gears and talk about TikTok real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I don't know how many of y'all watch the Risa Tisa 50-part series. This woman recorded. The videos were like 10 minutes long, by the way.
They were a lot.
They were.
Give us a synopsis of what that story is briefly. What happened with her and her estranged husband?
They call it the United Nations of Red Flags got together and said that Legion, who was the man that Risa Tisa married, gave so many signs that he wasn't shit that Risa Tisa should have known better. But the beauty of this, y'all, is just her storytelling. So I watched enough of it. I'm gonna be honest, I did not watch all 50 parts because good God, that's a lot of time. But the beauty of it was like the cliffhangers, the setup, the plot, like the way that shit flowed. I was like, this bitch can tell a motherfucking story, okay?
Storytelling skills were
and that's actually what we want to talk about, is how her taking this situation. So, by the way, he was a pathological liar.
The man probably had like multiple personality disorder. He had something.
When you said Legion, so before we even started recording and we were talking about it, I was like, yeah, his name was Legion. He was like Legion, like a multitude, like many. And I'm like, that actually kind of makes sense.
For all my Baptist summer camp Bible study folks, there was a part of scripture in the Bible to where there was a man who was possessed. I'm not exactly sure who was talking to him in the Bible, but when they were talking to him, they tried to address him as one person, but the person responded back, said, "We are Legion, we are many," which means that this man had the where's my
multiple personalities.
Yes, he had multiple personalities. That's probably what we might call it.
Yeah, like that movie Split, like where he was like 17 people at once. Yeah, okay.
Yes, y'all. So
and the one Halle Berry did that was fantastic, where she was a little girl and then she turned into an old white woman. Did you see that?
Was that Gothica? Was that Gothica?
I'm gonna find it, but Halle Berry tore that shit up. It was fantastic. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, for all that's from that scripture. I'll find it another time. But yes, so the Legion name, I don't know if that was really his name or that's what she just called. I think that's what she called him. I think that's what she called him.
Even then, right?
But
that's
that was a little underlying,
right?
I dig that.
I was like, I see what you did there, sis. That's fantastic. So yeah, Baby was an amazing storyteller. There were moments where I was just like, damn, I'm gonna have to after this one, I'm getting off. After this one, I'm getting off, because that's how good she was at like making you want more. It was given like Shonda Rhimes, right? I kept going back to Scandal because Shonda, what's her name? Carrie was always solving like somebody's problem. But the beauty of Shonda Rhimes' writing was the way the character arc like throughout the series. So the relationship with the president, the whole
with her father, with her dad.
the cheating scandal, like all of that, right? So that's kind of what I felt like Risa Tisa was doing. So come to find out, y'all, that when that series blew up, she ended up signing with an agency. And now they want to develop her shit to be like a series. And so I was just sitting here like, that's fucking amazing, number one. Number one. But I also feel like now we're, because there's so much fucking pain in the world and in our country, people are starting to like pimp that and turn it into almost like I wouldn't say a hustle. Like, I think she's genuinely just a gifted storyteller. But I feel like people are starting to look at their pain and be like, all right, how can I make some change off of this? Right? Like,
I think number one, I ain't mad at it. If you've gone through an experience and you want to tell your story, and even if you want to add some dramatics to it, you know, get your coin off of it. Because truth be told, a lot of us have been through so many traumatic experiences. Some of our stories might not be that entertaining, but they sure are deep. They sure are painful. Yeah. So I ain't mad at nobody telling their story and getting bread off of it. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at nobody being entertained by it. I think the other part, though, I think the only thing about it, though, you do open yourself up for critique. You do open yourself up for outside opinions and perspectives. And if you're not ready for that, you kind of have to accept it. And also, too, if you are the person who has a platform and you're critiquing that, you have to also be thoughtful, because the Breakfast Club recently was under fire for their comments concerning that entire story.
That's it.
And Charlamagne had to go back and just kind of clean it up a little bit.
Charlamagne always in some shit though.
which is like, yo, you know what, you got you should do that. You should do that.
And for those who are not aware, so Just Hilarious is on the show, right? And so they were talking about Risa Tisa, because I mean the shit was everywhere.
It was viral.
It was everywhere. So they were talking about Risa Tisa's series, and Charlamagne the God said something to the effect of like, "Oh,
that sounds like big bag behavior."
But that sounds like big bag behavior. She got a big bag." And so Just Hilarious was like, "Yeah, she do kind of got a little bigger bag.
She's a bigger woman."
And so pretty much saying that like, oh, she was willing to deal with this from this man because she's a heavier woman or a plus size woman or whatever. I want to say from myself that like, I don't give a fuck what you look like. Don't nobody deserve to be shitted on and treated badly by anyone.
Yes.
Like, period. I really do not care. Like, no one deserves that shit. And so that was really what the apology was about, was him coming back and being like, okay, yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that shit.
Yeah, I should have did a little more on that.
Yeah, she's not deserving of shitty treatment because she's plus size.
Now, let's be clear here. I do think probably a deeper conversation does need to happen on how certain individuals within our community are more exploited from a romantic perspective, because it happens on both sides. And for sure, I know I have seen the one of the jokes is one of the ongoing jokes, and we've laughed at it on social media all the time, when we see one individual with a quote unquote not as attractive person. We like, oh, he must the tax is about to hit.
He got money.
Somebody trying to get that, or he got money. Yeah. It's on both sides. It's some kind of commentary that goes along with attractiveness of a person. So I think that's kind of a deeper issue amongst our community that we might want to eventually talk about, because that layer of race makes it different. Now, does it happen in other communities? Absolutely. Absolutely. But amongst our own, I think that's a conversation that might need to be had one of these days on romance, love.
And it goes back to like what we see as valuable. So I think for women in general, right? Like, because of the way our society is set up, it's like, well, she has to look a certain way for her to be desirable. And that's what gets her the high value man, like the man with the money or whatever. So, so that's one part. On the other side, like, we have this belief that men are supposed to be providers. And so I don't give a fuck what he look like, as long as he can send me on the yacht and, you know, I can drive what I want and had a big house. Like, and what's crazy is the older I get, so I used to think that shit was just like, people just be talking shit. That ain't true. That ain't true. The older I get, the more I realize that there are people out there who live by those
rules.
Oh
no, there are absolutely people who ascertain your value with either how you look or how much you make or what you have. And that is it. I've seen it to a certain extent. I've experienced it.
Yes.
So yeah, I think again that leads to a deeper conversation of love, provision, and how we view each other through the lens of American capitalism and American exceptionalism.
That's it.
So
that's it. Yep. Well, yeah. Shout out to Risa Tisa though for getting her bag.
Shout out to that sister.
For signing with an agency. I really cannot wait to see what is developed. Usually these things take a while, right? They'll get a team, a writer's room, director, producer, all of that around her. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're going crazy enough. They talked about her having a big back, baby. When you sign with that agency and they need to brand you. She about to get a trainer, a nutritionist, so everybody that was talking shit.
Or at least she'll be able to afford it. And once them checks roll in, you know what I'm saying? She can do whatever she gonna be alright. She gonna be alright no matter what she chooses to do.
That's it.
Get your money. Get your money.
That's it. And all right, y'all, that's the 5 for today. So you wanna check in?
Let's check in. How are you feeling? You go first.
Yeah, no, as mentioned earlier, I had a rough morning. Like I woke up and I was just like, you know, something that happened to me today. All right, so y'all know I used to be in corporate, right? So, you know, you save for retirement and all that. So I just happened to get the statements from my retirement today, and I was like, let me just look at this because I never look at it. Like I have a firm that like figures out where to put money and all of that. Cool. So I look at the statements this morning, and I'm like, hold on, something's wrong here. Where the fuck is my money?
Where's my mother?
So I have worked 15 years in corporate America. I know that there should be more money than this. And I literally was just like, well, wait, is it, you know, I was thinking about what I had been invested in, the company that I had come from, their stock is in the dump. I'm going to be honest. And I was like, did I really lose that much money from not like moving my shit around when I was supposed to 2 years ago? And I just sat on the couch and I was thinking about that and like just a bunch of other stuff that I mentioned I was going on, things on my plate that I really wanted to get rid of, but I felt like I couldn't. And so I just sat and I remember just like putting out into the universe, like, I want to simplify. Like, I want to be able to focus on the green route and I want to be able to focus on my writing, the publication that I work for, and all this other shit I just wanted off of my plate because it's just not serving me. It's taking more energy and time and mental capacity than I have to give. So much so that like even my relationships were suffering. Like my friend hit me this morning. He was like, you okay? You know, Anthony. Yeah, he hit me this morning. He was just like, you okay? You look stressed on your video this morning. I was like, that's an understatement. Like, I was like, you don't even understand. And so I just sat there and I remember like just saying like, I'm going to trust you with whatever you want to do. Like you, whatever. And again, whatever you believe in, like, that thing has never let me down. So I have proof and evidence in my own life that that thing will take care of me. And so I just put it out there and it was crazy. I went to a luncheon to do something that I said I would do for someone who honestly doesn't really treat me that well. But I said I would do it. And so I went to honor my commitment to this person. And by the time I was on my way home, I got one phone call that alleviated all the things that I needed off my plate. And like got me to where I needed to be.
Look
and
at
I was
God.
Just like, man, that's really crazy.
Cue the organs.
Seriously, like, can we overlay like some shout music or something? But yeah, and so I just, you know, I guess my check-in is that I am better, but I will say, y'all, that in times like this, like I have learned that like hard times don't last forever. They never do.
They don't.
Like even though when you're in it, that shit feels like this ain't gonna never pass. Like this is always gonna hurt this way. And so I remember just like getting up and recording and doing my morning run and just like having faith that if I just continue to do these things, like something will break, like something will work out. And it actually did for me today. So in a very good place, completely 180 from where I was this morning. But yeah, it's just because like for months I was just probably since October, I've just been trudging through it and just like, all right, if I got to get up and do this thing every day, I'm going to do it. So, and then me and my partner are recording again together. And so this just feels really good to be back in the studio with you. I know you had a lot of things on your plate that you had to had to sift through as well.
Yeah. It was last year was hands down my hardest year. One of the hardest years of my life, for sure. But I prevailed.
Beautiful.
Like everything else, I'll say this. This is probably why the place for checking in for myself. Why I feel good. I feel good because there's I've just gone through so much in my life just over the years, and I'm finally getting to the place to where I've come to the realization that the only solid ground that I will have is the one that I prepare for myself.
Okay.
And that's what I've been working on every day. Because truth be told, I may have let myself down in the past. Let me preach a little bit, y'all. I may have let myself down in the past, but I've never failed myself.
That's it.
I've never failed myself. Never. And so I think that this new inward looking for inspiration, this turning of the inwards versus outward, it's helped me make a lot of decisions, put things in perspective. My sleep is much better.
Fantastic.
Sleep is much better. Shout out to I'm going to butcher the name of her gym, Alyssa. You not gonna mess it up, but it's Unonia Fitness. Unaya Fitness. Please
Alyssa.
correct me. Charge it to my head and I'm a heart. But I went to she had a Saturday event where she was giving just like information about macros versus micros and I just fell up in there because I was like, I know for sure to change my diet. And so one thing she had suggested was this magnesium powder by Thorne. So I've been taking magnesium powder.
Baby. Before bed?
Vitamins. It's and what I realized, the other realization that I've made that's put me in a much better position. It really does start with your body. So for me, this is what I have. Like I have to, if your body is doing what it's supposed to do, you can get so much accomplished consistently. When your body is doing what it needs to be doing consistently.
That's it.
Let me say that. So it's just the taking of vitamins, getting better sleep, cutting off things, slowly shedding things, people, stuff that ain't never been faithful to me this whole time.
That's right.
All of that. It's all starting to come together. Corporate, shout out to my corporate partners. Hopefully you never see any of my videos because I know. But shout out to my corporate partners. I've developed some great relationships with some really cool individuals. So, and we all know that it's not about money, and money doesn't lead to happiness. But money puts you, or making more money as far as being an entrepreneur, making more money as an entrepreneur gives you the space to just do more of what you want to do for yourself.
That's right. And
so I am grateful that I'm just in that space and I'm happy.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. And I'm proud of you. Like you have been on this journey. Even I remember us talking about the sleep thing and like you wanting to make sure you're in the bed at a certain hour and getting up and I've like seen you develop the habit of, not necessarily, I wouldn't say forcing yourself, but just being good to yourself.
Yeah, just being,
like, I want to feel rested. I want to, So that's awesome. I'm happy for you.
So.
All right. Well, we good. I think that's a wrap. You got anything else?
Like, follow, subscribe.
All of that.
All of that on Instagram, YouTube, wherever the Green Route is.
That's it.
Follow.
We'll be here. We'll see y'all later.
Peace.
And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.